For me, a poster is, first of all, has a great scale. So the proportions of a poster usually provide like a wide canvas to communicate an idea. It's kind of the largest possible canvas that you can get in a print medium. Something that a viewer can interact with, kind of either up close or from a distance. But basically, it's this kind of interactive form of communication between the viewer and the communicator. So I think that the medium itself is very exciting. The form itself, and then why I design posters. I don't know. I would say. I design posters because I work in the movie industry. I've worked in the movie industry for 30 years, and the poster format has been something that I just kind of fell into without thinking about it too much. I started working in the movie industry when I was a sophomore in college, and I've been doing movie poster design for 30 years. So it's something that I fell into. I've always loved. I love telling stories through images. I love creating a visceral experience between the viewer and the designer. I love the collaborative process. I love interacting with clients, finding out what excites them, what excites me about the project, having a great discussion, and then distilling a film into a single image that serves the product, but at the same time engages the viewer and also hopefully sells tickets and makes money for the product. For me, something singular, something iconic, something very colorful, um, and um, and also it's a kind of image that you can't take your eyes off and you don't get sick of looking at. So I think it's important to have it be this kind of ongoing conversation. And the more you look at it, the more engaged you become with it, and just that you don't get sick of looking at it. So when I measure what makes a successful poster is my level of engagement and how much is this image entertaining my eye, keeping me interested. Usually, if I see a great poster, it forces me to, find the creative talent behind it, and then research their whole portfolio and see like what they've done, in the past and where they're up to now, and it becomes for me like a deeper conversation about kind of like delving into like who's behind this great image. For me, the role of the poster in the world today is it's a very broad question, but I would say it's really, for me, it's about engaging the viewer, entertaining the viewer, creating a conversation, informing the viewer, kind of enticing the viewer. It's really about creating a conversation. So it's really a conversation between the viewer and the artist or the creative team behind it. Usually with a movie poster, we receive a script, we screen a film, we have a conversation with the writer, the producer, the director, sometimes the actor or actress that's involved in the film, or the marketing department. This conversation allows us to get all the information that they want to convey in the poster. What works about it, what doesn't work, its strengths, its weaknesses, and so then when I start creating, I know exactly what they're looking for, and I kind of keep in mind what the criteria of the project is, and I really look at how far I can go in what direction, and make sure that I'm on target with with what they're expecting. And also, I think at the same time, the client or the customer wants to be surprised. They want to see what you come up with, and they want to be excited about it, and they want to be part of the process in a sense. That's one thing. My process is basically, I usually screen the film or read the script, and I get to the core of the message or the core emotion of the film. I usually fall kind of in love with the main character or the look of the film. And the subject matter, I actually end up researching that subject. I go through usually when I first started out in the industry, when I first started doing posters, I would go through my whole library to find the perfect reference and just really exploit the subject, exploit all the images I have available, and also then go back to all my favorite photographers, designers, and find connections that way. And through these connections, then I kind of bring everything together and I start sketching from there. And then it's my job to distill the the film and the vision into like one image that serves the film, and at the same time, ideally, it's something that I create that will engage the viewer, and so usually in my process, I usually for a poster where I'm presenting 25 versions of something or 25 completely different ideas that I have, I would have to come up with at least 100 sketches. So usually a quarter of the sketches go into development, but usually I want to research, go full gamut, cover as many areas as possible. So sometimes I'll do 100 sketches for one movie. Sometimes I'll do 25, but usually it's better to do more than you're asked to do for yourself, depending on the time that you have. Just really do as many as possible, and then I usually edit them down with my business partner, who has a very good marketing eye, and he kind of usually meets with the clients, and so it's very important, like I said, to have that partnership. I'll engage with the designers in the product, the digital artists, and the team gets involved. But usually, like I said, the research is really the most important thing for us, and also researching the actual film and really diving in and falling in love with it, and then creating an image that represents the film and that comes from capturing the heart of the film. And so artistically, that's kind of the challenge, how to kind of interpret the heart of the film and capture it on paper. I have two favorites. For me, any Polish poster that was done from, I would say, the 40s to the 80s, I think. They're all incredible. They can't do it wrong, the Polish artists, because a lot of the poster designers in Poland were actual painters and sketch artists. So a lot of them are very personalized and artistic and beautiful. They're objects and mainly paintings. So, but they always have that visual appeal that I think is very important. So all those posters are my favorite, or most European posters from those eras are also very design based and very beautiful and emotional. But I would say, as far as my two favorite posters of all time, one has to be Silence of the Lamb poster. I would say Silence of the Lambs poster because I remember being on vacation somewhere near the beach, and it was a small, tiny theater, and we were driving past this theater, which was maybe a block away, or maybe 300 feet away, and from a distance I noticed this black and white image with this kind of little central kind of color butterfly towards the bottom. I didn't know it was a butterfly, but I just noticed the color palette and the iconography of that image caught my eye. And so I parked the car and walked to the theater, and I had to engage with that image. I had to confront it and look at it and be in awe of it. And ever since then, I was kind of a huge fan of that image. The second one, I would say, is this a movie called Emmanuel. It's kind of a, I think Frankfurt gets bulk designed the poster. It's just this beautiful pair of lips of this woman lying down in a field of black space. So I would say that one comes from like my era, because I was kind of first involved in movie posters in the 80s. So I would say that one is really one of my favorite posters. To become a good listener, to build partnerships with people, to learn how to draw, to to um, to have like a sensitive eye and a sensitivity for storytelling, to to um, to have the capacity to submit. I think it's very important to give up your ego and give in to what other people have to say. I think that there's a lot of gold in available when you open your ears to people and ideas, other people's ideas. So I think it's really like sharing information, being open, and being very, being very um, intuitive and go with your, have like really speak from your heart and create from there. And find people that will respect you and that will listen to you and learn how to engage people. So I would say learning communication skills, listening is very important, and building partnerships. I mean, I've been very fortunate that I've had like a business partner for 22 years, and our success comes from listening to each other. And, and, and also, we disagree on everything, but that's the beauty of it. The beauty is to be able to engage with other people and not kind of come from such a personal view. Because the personal view is only interesting to you. It's really, I mean, of course, someone else can find your views interesting, but it's your job to engage that person and enroll that person into kind of, and convince them or enroll them into what you have to say. So it's really your job to learn how to communicate, learn how to listen, and build partnerships and communities that will actually empower you.